AITA for not babysitting so my mom can go on dates with her fiancé. My parents split up when I was still a baby. I grew up living with my dad and saw my mom every other weekend. She had moved away when I was really little because she wanted to be closer to a man she was dating. Later, she moved again for another man. It was never about work or family, just about whoever she was seeing at the time. That was the start of what made things feel off between us. Even when I was really young, I could tell her choices had more to do with them than with me. Over the years, she dated different people. Some of them I met when I'd stay at her place. Others I just heard about because she liked to talk about them all the time. It always felt like she cared more about the idea of having someone than about being my mom. A few years ago, she got together with a guy named Clay. Now they're engaged and living together. Clay has 4 kids of his own, all younger than me. When I visit, I sleep on the basement couch because I didn't want to share a room with them. That bothers my mom and Clay a lot. We end up arguing every couple of months about why I don't act like part of their new family. I never say it out loud, but it's because I don't feel like I belong there. I've spent my whole life being told I should just fit into whatever new life my mom builds around the next person she's dating, and I'm tired of it. The newest fight started because they want me to babysit the kids so they can go on dates. They think that just because I'm the oldest, it's my job to help out whenever they want. It doesn't matter if I'm visiting them or staying with my dad. If they want to go out, they expect me to show up and take care of the kids. When I'm at her place for the weekend, I avoid it by going out and spending time walking around town or hanging out at the local game store. When I'm at home with dad, it's easier to say no. My dad doesn't think it's fair either. He hates that she wants me to drive hours just so she and Clay can have a night off, and it makes him angry that she doesn't see why that isn't my responsibility. My mom keeps telling me I need to accept that Clay and his kids are my family now, but to me they're not. They're people my mom chose to add to her life. Once I turn 18, I won't have to visit anymore. Part of me already knows I won't. I don't feel like I owe them my time, especially not to babysit so my mom can have the relationship she really cares about. And when she says that I should just want to help because they're family, I can't help but feel like she doesn't really see why that hurts. Sometimes I wonder if I'm being too stubborn, but deep down I know it's not about being lazy or rude. It's about wanting someone to see me as their kid first instead of a built-in babysitter. And I don't think that's wrong. AITA for refusing to babysit so my mom can keep building a life that never really included me. How family bonding magically becomes free childcare on demand. Olympic-level guilt trip gymnastics right there. It's wild how some people treat kids like travel mugs, portable, spill-proof, and always expected to come along quietly. Babysitting shouldn't be your default job description just because you share half a DNA strand with the mom who signed up for a whole new sitcom cast. Funny how your weekend visit turns into a part-time shift faster than you can say, not my monkeys, not my circus. Also, being oldest doesn't mean you unlock a special superpower called always responsible, always available, forever unpaid. Props to your dad for seeing the difference between bonding and babysitter in disguise. Gold star parenting move. Honestly, family should feel like home, not like a volunteer sign-up sheet taped to the fridge. Wanting to be treated as someone's child, not as their date night voucher, isn't selfish. It's called being human. They can keep adding +1s to the life party, but that doesn't make you the coat check attendant. Bottom line, you're not the AITA. You're just done being the invisible add-on. And honestly, fair. Story 2. AITA for not wanting to be friends with the rich new girl at work. I am 23 and work at a busy place that always hires extra help during certain times of the year. A few months ago, we got a new seasonal worker named Kara. She is younger than most of us and comes from a really wealthy family. It became clear right away because she kept bringing it up in every conversation. She talked about her big house, about how she could have us all live in her guest house if we wanted, and about how she had never had to clean anything herself. She invited some of the older co-workers to her pool and even said they could sneak drinks from her parents' collection because, according to her parents would not care at all. At first, I thought maybe she was just nervous and bragging to feel included. But over time, it kept happening. She would find a way to mention money no matter what we were talking about. If someone mentioned being tired because of working late, she would say she didn't really need to work and only did it because she was bored. If someone talked about saving up for something, she would say she could just buy it on the spot if she wanted. It got tiring to listen to, and it felt like she didn't notice how uncomfortable it made the rest of us. Outside of work, I spend time with my partner and a few co-workers. We go out sometimes or just hang around after shifts. Lately, we started talking about Kara more because she has been creating some drama at work too. She sprayed people with water and told them to do little chores for her, like cleaning up her station or grabbing her lunch. When they hesitated, she offered to buy them coffee or small gifts to make up for it. Some of my coworkers think it's funny and even talk about saying yes to her offers just to get free stuff, then forgetting about her when she leaves. Nothing about that feels right to me. Even if she's annoying, using Using her kindness or desperation for company seems wrong. Then there was one moment that really bothered me. A group of us stepped out for a quick break to vape. Kara followed and asked if she could try. She said she had never done it before, but wanted to fit in. We all felt awkward because it's not something you want to share with someone that young who clearly didn't even want it herself. I told her she shouldn't do something just to look cool and that throwing money around wouldn't buy real friendship. I even said it must feel nice to have dollars instead of a brain and not face the same consequences as the rest of us. She laughed it off at the time, but I could see she was embarrassed. Since then, she still tries to joke with me or talk to me, but I keep my answers short. One coworker told me I was being rude and unfair, that Kara doesn't know better because of how she was raised. He said she is trying so hard to be my friend and that I could at least meet her halfway. Not long after, Kara sent a text to everyone, inviting us to a big pool party at her house before she leaves for college. I didn't want to go, so I replied right away saying no thank you. Nobody else replied after that. Later, one coworker messaged me privately and said I ruined her party because now everyone feels awkward. He told me Kara talks about me a lot and tries to learn about what I like. I didn't even know she cared that much. Part of me felt guilty after that. Maybe she really is trying in the only way she knows how. But another part of me feels like I shouldn't have to be the one to explain to her why bragging and throwing money around makes people uncomfortable. It's strange because when Kara isn't bragging, I sometimes notice moments where she seems normal, even a bit shy. Once we were on lunch break and she mentioned liking the same music I do, but then she turned it into a story about how she saw that band from the front row because her dad got her VIP tickets. It always circles back to money. It makes it so hard to see if we could ever actually get along without that part getting in the way. Some days I feel bad because maybe she really believes she has to buy her way into friendships. But other days, I just feel annoyed that she keeps seeing people, including me, like something to buy. My patience runs thin sometimes, and I'm not proud of it. Another coworker told me Kara seems really lonely. They said maybe she grew up without learning how to be close to people without using gifts. I get that, and it makes me sad to think about. But I also feel like I shouldn't have to ignore how she acts just because she had a different upbringing. My partner tells me I don't owe her anything and that it's okay to not like someone even if they don't mean harm. Still, when I look at Kara sometimes, I wonder what it must be like to have all that money and still feel like people wouldn't like you unless you gave them things. Now I keep thinking about what to do. Should I pull her aside and explain why her way of trying to fit in makes me and others uncomfortable? Would that even help, or would it just embarrass her more? Should I keep my distance and wait for the season to end? Or maybe try to give her a chance and see if there's more to her than the bragging? A small part of me wants to know if we could get along if she didn't feel the need to talk about money all the time. But I also feel stubborn because I don't want to pretend I'm okay with it. And I don't want to feel like I'm rewarding her for trying to buy people that I keep asking myself if I'm being too harsh. If maybe I'm judging her before giving her a fair chance. But every time she offers to buy something for someone or makes another comment about how easy her life is, it makes me want to step back even more. It feels fake. And it makes me feel fake too if I try to laugh along that oh, I guess I'm asking AITA for not wanting to be her friend and turning her down even if she seems to want to be closer. Am I wrong for replying no to the party invite right away and maybe making everyone else feel weird about it? Should I be the bigger person and try to show her a better way to connect with people? Or is it okay to just not want to be around someone who sees friendship as something you can buy? I don't know the answer, and part of me feels guilty for even thinking this way. But it's the truth of how I feel, and I don't know if that makes me the bad person in this situation. Gotta love when someone turns "wanna hang out" into "by the way, my bathtub costs more than your car." Low-key sounds like hanging with a walking platinum card that keeps trying to be your emotional support influencer. Not every invite needs a yes. Sometimes RSVP stands for really shouldn't validate pretend rich energy. Wild how generosity feels sweet until it's served with a giant side of humble brag souffle. Also, why do rich kids think friendship is like those claw machines? Just keep tossing coins until the stuffed bear says yes. Props for actually saying something instead of just nodding politely like the rest of the break room zombies. Imagine living rent-free in a mansion, yet still having to rent people's attention. Dark comedy. Really, your partner's right. Having empathy doesn't require a buy one get one free friendship coupon that if she truly wants connection, she'll eventually notice people smile more when she talks about feelings than finances. Bottom line, it's not mean to step back when someone's kindness feels wrapped in gold foil bragging rights. You're allowed to want real over rich. Before we move on to the next story, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, tell us your favorite story in the comments, and if you have your own story to share, let us know down there too. Story 3. AITA for asking my friend to keep conversations simple and to the point and stop ranting because I'm tired. My friend Owen is honestly one of the kindest people I know. He always tries to help, and he's incredibly smart, but he has this way of turning every chat into a marathon speech. What should be a quick hello often becomes a long lecture full of big words and side stories. At first it made me smile, but over time it started to wear me out. Even my partner avoids being in the room when I'm on speaker with him because a short call can stretch into an hour of him explaining things most people never asked about. It's like he can't help himself, and it makes every conversation feel heavy. A while back, I asked Owen to help me build a small website. I paid him well for it because I trust his skills. He finished it, and while it was decent, it felt a bit off from what I pictured. So I asked if we could go over it together. Before we got on the call, I sent him a message. I told him gently that I respect how much he knows, but asked if this time we could keep the conversation focused so I could follow along better. I explained it wasn't that I thought he was wrong or that I didn't care about his knowledge, but that sometimes it's too much for me to keep up with. That he took it badly. He got defensive and told me I was rude. Then, without warning, he refunded the money I paid and told me to keep the site for free. He said he didn't want to work on it anymore and that I should find someone else. I tried to explain that I still wanted him to finish and that he deserved to be paid, but he wouldn't hear it. He kept repeating that he was done and that he talks too much for my taste, so I should move on. After a few more tries to calm things down, I told him I respected his decision. Since he'd said he didn't want to work on the site anymore, I removed his permissions so he couldn't make changes to it. Minutes later, he messaged me again, angry that I had removed him. I told him I thought that's what he wanted. He had clearly said he didn't want to see or touch the site again, so I was only respecting that. But it made him even more upset. Now, we aren't speaking. I still feel bad. I never meant to hurt him or make him feel like he had to prove anything to me. I only wanted our conversation about edits to be clear and quick because his long explanations leave me drained. I feel like I tried to do the right thing by being honest and respectful, but it turned into a mess. Sometimes I wonder if I should have just stayed quiet and let him talk, but then I remember how tiring it felt and how much it weighed on me. I care about him, but I also wanted to be heard. Now I don't know if I was wrong to ask or if I should have handled it differently. I never wanted to push him away, but maybe asking him to change, even for a moment, was too much. So I'm left wondering, am I the one at fault for asking my friend to keep things simple so I could keep up? Friendship shouldn't require booking a 4-hour TED Talk each time someone says, hey. Owen sounds like the human version of YouTube autoplay. Once it starts, buckle up until the battery dies. Low pressure tip. Next call, we're running shoes, so you can mentally jog laps while he quotes Wikipedia. It's weird how asking, could we keep it brief, somehow translates into destroy our bond immediately. He refunded? Dang, that's next level dramatic. Shakespeare would clap from beyond the grave. Maybe next time record him, speed it up 3x, and sell it as a podcast. Knowledge avalanche with Owen. Reality check. Conversations work best when everyone's awake by the end, not praying for the sweet release of silence that nobody's asking him to turn into a monk. Just switch the setting from audiobook to quick memo. Bottom line, friendship shouldn't feel like surviving a hurricane of syllables. Balance matters more than encyclopedic detailed dumps, and asking for that isn't betrayal, it's human. Story 4. AITA for not giving up my dream job because my fiancé doesn't want to move. I'm 30 years old and I was just offered the job I've dreamed about since I was fresh out of college. It's a creative director role at a company I've looked up to for as long as I can remember. They're offering to help with the move, cover part of my housing for the first year, and the pay is more than I ever thought I would make. It feels like the reward for years of late nights, missed holidays, and all the times I kept going even when I wanted to give up. But the job is on the other side of the country. When I told my fiancé, who is 31, I thought he would be happy for me. He works from home and has no family keeping him here. But all he said was that he didn't want to leave his friends and the gym he loves. No job keeping him here. No family who depends on him. Just his routine and the people he sees a few times a week. I told him I couldn't let go of something I've worked toward for so long just because he doesn't want to find a new gym. He said I was choosing my career over our future together. I reminded him that I've always supported him in everything he's done. When he changed jobs twice in a year, when he decided to go freelance, and even when that meant money was tight. For a while, I never made him feel guilty. I thought he would do the same for me. Instead, he told me that if I take the job, he won't move with me. I waited to see if he would say something more, but he didn't. So I said okay. And that's when everything started. His parents called me, telling me I'm selfish and asking how I could throw away a good man just for a job. My own family is divided, some saying they understand and others telling me love should come first. Friends have been quieter around me, and I can feel some of them judging me even if they don't say it out loud. But when I lie awake at night, I keep thinking about how I would feel feel if I let this chance go. I know it would haunt me for the rest of my life. I would resent him, and maybe he would resent me too. I don't want to lose him, but I don't think it's fair to ask someone to give up a dream they've worked so hard for. And deep down, I feel like if he truly believed in us, he would be willing to try, to at least see what it could be like together in a new city. It hurts that he won't even consider it. Maybe that says more about us than anything else. I keep wondering if I'm really being selfish, or if he is for refusing to even think about it. It feels like I'm standing at a crossroads between the life I've built for myself and the life we plan to share. And I don't know which path makes me the bad person. So now I'm left asking myself, am I really the one who is wrong for not giving up my dream job because my fiancé doesn't want to move? Dream jobs don't come knocking every day, but apparently neither does Mr. Gym Buddy for Life, who refuses to change his protein shake routine. The gym, sacred temple, or just a really good excuse to avoid packing boxes. Props for your loyalty during his career roller coaster. Expecting a little reciprocity isn't unreasonable. Side note, parents dialing up the drama like they're auditioning for a soap opera. Someone get them a script with mind your own business. Friend, circle turning into the jury. Classic. You're not a contestant on who's the most supportive. Late night regrets? Nah, more like future you high-fiving present you for not throwing away the golden ticket. If love means supporting growth, then I won't move sounds more like I'm comfortable, deal with it. Crossroads suck, but sometimes you gotta take the one with better Wi-Fi and career perks. That you're not selfish for chasing a dream. You're just brave enough to choose yourself, and honestly, that's pretty inspiring. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell us your favorite story in the comments, and feel free to share your own story too.